But Commodores.
The college football experience, Vanderbilt Commodores 2024 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times the amount you enter with their brand new Pick 8. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. Yes, they do have college football, but you also, that promo code will get you to be able to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm.
This is Coach June Jones, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Football experience, Vanderbilt Commodores 2024 season preview, and we're breaking down every single team in the land, just like we do each and every year. 134 podcasts for 134 teams, hour-long episode for Kennesaw State and Utah State and Hawaii, same as Alabama. And we start here, with the doors, as we're almost done with the entire SEC. We'll be finished today. The Vanderbilt Commodores here. Hop on over to YouTube, youtube.com/@collegeexperience. Hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee.
Whew. I mean, what an offseason. These doors ain't putting up. They ain't putting up with this bullshit. They said there's no more SEC East. Okay, we'll figure it out. Brought in a few coaches. Clark Lea. Pivotal year in the Lee experiment. And excited to talk about it. I brought on lifelong Vanderbilt Commodore fan. It's near and dear to his heart. Door football. He is the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. They call him Scumbagger Vance, aka the Bet Detective. CJ Sullivan, how are you, pal?
Good. What's up, buddy? I just remember as soon as you said that, I actually do have a Vanderbilt hat back there somewhere, and I forgot all about it. But Nashville's near and dear to me. I visit Nashville all the time. I know people who work at Vanderbilt, highfalutin school there, but they're very good in the academics, and we'll see how they are with the football team this year, as things look like they always do there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're in the SEC. I know they're trying to, they're throwing more money into the football program and all their athletic departments, but or all their athletic, programs, but it has been somewhat rough seas in Nashville. It's hard when everyone else just throws boatloads of money, and then you're sitting there and you do care about academics in a conference that don't care about academics. Right. It's been rough season. I mean, ever since I can remember watching them, since Gary DiNardo and Rod Dowhauer, and just the only guy who caught a little lightning in a bottle was James Franklin, who went 3 years, 3 bowl games, 2 9-win seasons. Derek Mason had 2 bowl win seasons, or two bowling seasons. They lost those games, 6 and 7 seasons. But Clark Lea, entering year 4, you got to wonder, how long's the leash? I know he's a former player himself, so maybe it's a longer leash than most. Do you think the seat is hot for old Clark Lea?
Well, I mean, to say he's 9-27 for those 3 years there. Oh, as you put up the beautiful graphic there, the Canva whiz there, Dundee, loving it. Looking at that beautiful Commodore star, Clark Lea, defensive coach in the SEC. They don't. I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It's just tough there within the SEC. So you get rid of.
He's 2-0 against Hawaii. 2-0 against Hawaii.
Hey, we don't have UNLV till afterwards. So
yeah, 0-1 against UNLV. We don't have them on the schedule this year. The juggernaut.
They
juggernaut
raised, right? Fresh off a season of face pissing and going us. That's exactly what they did to Vandy last year. And rubbed it on all of SEC's face.
Hey, I'll say this: he's 1-2 against Florida. That's probably better than a lot of Vanderbilt coaches 3 years in. He's 1-2 against Kentucky. Everything else is concerning. 0-2 to Wake Forest is concerning. Right. But I mean, I don't know. Year 2. I was buying into him being the right guy for the job. Last season, though, was just tough, man.
Well, last year they were supposed to take a step up. That's all everyone talked about. Play those Vandy overs. They're going bowling, and you feel like they were taking that natural step, but they took a step backwards, and it was just bad. It was the same thing.
They weren't that far away from going. We watched that Hawaii game in Nashville. They almost went 1-11.
Yeah,
because Hawaii was in that game. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like, and I try to be encouraging, like going to look at, but with the exception of the UNLV game, every other game was a double-digit loss. But I got good news for you.
Yeah, what happened?
They went out and they said, "Wait, we couldn't beat the SEC last year. Is there a coach out there that we can get that went undefeated against the SEC last year?" And there was. All right. And I don't know why he left New Mexico State. He blamed it on health conditions, but I find that it was weird. He had like this press conference about, saying he'll go to Mexico and eat margarita and drink margaritas. Jerry Kill, the greatest season in New Mexico State history. Fresh off of that, beats Auburn at Auburn, and he comes to Vanderbilt. What the hell's going on here?
Jerry Kill, legend. Look at that. Yeah, that's amazing. It seems like the whole staff came over there.
Yeah, 4 coaches from New Mexico State and many, many players. We'll get to it a bit. But Tim Beck was a cutting edge OC that I think a lot of coaches or a lot of schools had their eye on.
Yeah.
And Jerry Kill, I'm led on to believe that like there must have been some friction between him and the athletic department or the school president, and then he's just like, you know what, I've been coaching for 20 years. I got money. I'm out. But I can tell you this: if you want to be able to beat teams you're not supposed to beat, which Vanderbilt's going to have to do, I don't know that there's many coaches currently coaching that are better than Jerry Kill at doing that.
That's true. He is a giant slayer. What capacity is he taking on there over at up and down?
Now that's the thing, is he is currently, his position is I think offensive analyst or something, or assistant to the OC. Tim Beck. Tim Beck's going to be the OC this year.
Tim Beck's the OC, great OC, not to be confused with the other Tim Beck. But yeah, you're right. This is a team, and they not only did Mexico State bring their coaches, they brought some players along with them. We'll get into that a little bit, but this is a team that was great last year. They beat Auburn, for crying out loud. And who do they have on the schedule this year?
They got Auburn.
They got Auburn. So let's go.
Yes, and Jerry Kill was look. He's just got a wealth of knowledge. He was the he was the best man in the wedding of Gary Patterson, I believe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So just call up old Gary. Defense ain't working. Hey, can you look at some film over the weekend? Get back to me. Yeah, so they brought in 4 coaches, and I think that's a step in the right direction, because clearly they knew what the hell they were doing last year, and Jerry Kill's proven that. Offensively, well, the numbers aren't great. They were 101st in scoring offense a year ago. That was 13th in the SEC. 112th in total yards. That was 14th in the SEC. Remember, there was only 14 teams in the SEC last year. 64th in passing offense. That was 9th best in the SEC. Hey, that's not bad. 122nd in rushing offense.
That's bad.
That is bad. 13th in the SEC. Only South Carolina rushed for less per game. Any of those jump out to you? Maybe that 9th in passing. Say, hey, we're not bad of a passing team, right?
Well, you know what? They're going to get new blood with the new quarterbacks they brought in, so I'm not too concerned about those passing numbers. The rushing stats were abysmal last year. That 95 yards is kind of a fool's number. They had only 87 yards against the actual Group 1 or Group 5, whatever Division 1 teams. So
that's the thing with stats.
Terrible.
If there's places where you can go, if you see without the FCS game, it changes all the numbers. So,
sure.
Yeah.
So you take out the FCS, they only average 87 yards, which is absolutely abysmal. The O-line should improve a little bit, but I'm excited for their new quarterback. So I hope they can improve a little bit on that passing game. So we'll see.
Yeah. Look, they returned 4 starters: Cedric Alexander at the running back spot, wide receiver Quincy Skinner, and 2 offensive linemen, Gunnar Hansen and Delphin Xavier Castillo. I mean, you normally like to have more starters back, but they got absolutely raided in the portal. I'll talk about it right here. There are 3 quarterbacks in the depth chart.
Yeah.
AJ Swan, who I thought looked good. He's off at LSU. Ken Seals, who I thought the year before had looked all right. He's at TCU. And then Walter Taylor goes to the Colorado Buffaloes, Coach Prime.
You got a couple of them. No, that's not good. The receiver room got decimated by the portal.
Man,
that's
they lost a couple backs, but they were like backup backs. Patrick Smith, Diego Benson to FCS schools. But Will Shepard, who I thought was a stud last year, goes to Colorado. And then London Humphreys, another guy that I think it has a promising future. The Georgia Bulldogs swoop in and say, "Hey, be a dog."
They liked what they saw out of him, huh?
Yeah, and Jaden McGowan to Boston College, Kamarian Carter to Middle Tennessee, right there in Murfreesboro, Davion Walker to FAMU, and Josh Palmer in the portal. Tight end Justin Ball heads out to Mississippi State, and then on the offensive line they lost Leighton Nelson to Wisconsin. That was the big one there, I think. Another tight end Logan Kyle to JMU, Barrett Maddox to Marshall, and Junior Zebu to the Bulls of South Florida. That's a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball. But
that's a lot. Like I said, receiver is what stood out. The quarterbacks, of course, but they brought in new quarterbacks, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, those receivers just got decimated. So we'll see.
Well, they went out and they brought in all of New Mexico State's team pretty much.
Yeah.
Diego Pissing Pavia is coming into New Mexico State. Our boy. Former wrestling state champ, dude. He's a gamer, and look, it doesn't surprise me that Jerry Kill found the guy that no one really recruited, and just this is to me, he plays football the right way. You know what I mean? He's gonna piss on your rival's logo.
He's gonna piss on the logo. You gotta like it.
And he plays football. He's like honestly. He's like probably my favorite player in college football. So Diego Pissing Pavia also brought in Blaze Berlowitz. That name,
a lot of buzz on Blaze.
That name, I'm telling you, all right. He can go to any party, and take whatever. Nobody fucks with Blaze Berlowitz.
You're damn right. Is that Blaze Berlowitz over there coming through? You goddamn right. Hide your women. Blaze Berlowitz is here.
And then you got Nate Johnson, who started a game or 2 at Utah. So the quarterback room. You could make the argument it's in better shape.
An upgrade?
I mean,
think just out of the piss man himself, that's an upgrade for sure. He's exciting. He's gonna have new blood with the New Mexico State coaches. I think it'll be a little more dynamic than what Vanderbilt's used to.
Yeah, and shout out to Damani in the chat, who's a Doors fan.
Yes.
He says biggest losses wide receiver room. He thinks he upgraded at QB and O-line. I'll tell you this though, Diego Pissing Pavia is not your typical like. It's weird. I like AJ Swan could end up being good at LSU, and because I think he might be your more traditional like passer, quote unquote. But like Diego Pavia, I think is a winner. He's more of a winner than the like. Not to say those guys are losers, but I'm just saying like Diego Pavia, he's just a guy that he's gritty. He's gonna get it done. It might not look the best, but he's gonna get it done. And I love his game. I think he's got that it factor. You know,
he's a gamer. He'll squeeze it, no drops.
He's not going to do a Chase Garbers in the UFL championship there, running for a first down. Just slide a yard before the marker.
But I agree with Damani. I think the O-line is going to be slightly improved, but definitely an improvement.
Well, at the tight end spot, they also brought in Eli Stowers, former quarterback, believe it or not. So from New Mexico State, he comes in. Wide receiver Jeremiah Dillon comes in from Ole Miss. This next guy is that Luke?
Loic? That's
Loic?
that's definitely a Marvel name of some sorts, right?
Loic Fuanji.
That's awesome. Loic Fuanji
from Texas Tech comes in.
Texas Tech,
Dario Wiley from the Nevada Wolfpack. And then on the offensive line, Chase Mitchell from the Flamin' Libs of Liberty, as well as Stephen Hubbard from the UTEP Miners and offensive lineman Stephen Losoya from Mississippi State. So it's like, okay, we'll give you a tight end. You give me the offensive tackle. Offensive lineman Cade McConnell also coming in from Minnesota, and punter Jesse Mirko from the Ohio State Buckeyes. So you think the offense? I'll tell you this is the real reason why the offense is going to be better than last year, because those New Mexico State players were in this offense. So
that's what I mean.
Of them in this offense, they're just going to be better on offense just on that. I know that the competition's a lot tougher, but still, I still think the offense will be more cohesive.
The transition will be smooth of learning the offense. They don't have to learn anything. I mean, obviously other players will, but the nucleus of who you need, your quarterbacks and receivers. So, I think it'll definitely be improved.
Shout out to Matt S. He goes, love these team breakdowns. Been listening to you guys for years now. Always get me hyped for the season. And he says they never had Diego pissing Pavia before.
Damn right.
And that means they might go undefeated. Get your natty futures now.
This year, they got pissing Pavia now. Do they have a pot for Pavia to piss in? Let's find out here on the defensive end.
Before we do that, I want to tell you 5 people out there that the College Football Experience 2024 season preview for the Vanderbilt Commodores edition is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Pick 8 is now live for the NBA Finals. Create entries with up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex those entries, so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entries. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. And yes, they do have college football, and the best part is you can win up to 325 times the amount you originally enter. So what are you doing? Don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone. Sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. All right. We are back, and let's talk about this defense, because defense. That's I think Lou Holtz has got something to say about these numbers.
Oh boy.
Well, I don't get right man cold, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
They were 126 out of 133. They were a bottom 7 defense when it comes to scoring.
Yeah.
Dead last in the SEC. Gave up 36.2 points per game. They were 128th in yards given up. Bottom 5 in the nation. 454.9 yards per game. Dead last in the SEC. They were 126th in passing defense. Dead last in the SEC. They were 104th in rush defense. Dead last in the SEC. There's only one way to go.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I guess you could stay stagnant, but any of those shock you?
Well, like when it comes to Vanderbilt, I mean, when you're SEC player, they're obviously undermanned, and that's what it is. Is it scheme or is it talent? And usually it's talent with Vanderbilt. You know, they just can't match up when it.
Why haven't they been running the triple option for 30 years?
Powerhouses. I mean, why can't we get a wing T? Can we get? I mean, any kind of gadget play. You're right to contribute. But as far as defense goes this year, as far as Vanderbilt, the yardage aren't too crazy. It's just, I mean, it's just obviously dead last is dead last. I actually like their secondary a little bit, to be honest with you. as you look at 200,
it's easy to see a tide turn.
Look,
well,
they returned 5
because of that man right there, CJ Taylor, the best player.
There you go.
The best player on that field.
Takes the CJ to Noah CJ.
Absolutely. Our CJ brother and stay together. Shout out to CJ Marable, the UFL. And the champion, CJ Marable. CJ Taylor's a great safety. So that whole secondary itself, let's see, they brought back, those are 5 returning starters.
I got 3 on the defensive line.
Yeah, that's which is huge. I think the front 7 they'll improve just via experience, let alone the talent,
Yeah.
but they should be slightly better. I'm not going to say it's obviously vastly overhead. There's two ways to look at it. One, you're returning some starters. Two, you're returning starters from last year's last place terrible defense. I mean, that's so it depends on how you want to look at that cup of whiskey.
Yeah, and those starters back, 3 on the defensive line: Devin Lee, Christian James, and Anenis DeCosmo. Secondary: Martell Height back at the corner spot, and safety CJ Taylor. And Bet Detective's high on the secondary. We're gonna talk about it.
Martell Height, Marlon Jones in there. Dante Carter. They got a nice little and a huge centerpiece of CJ Taylor. I mean,
now they did lose some guys. Defensive lineman Nate Clifton. He's at Southern Cal.
Yeah,
USC.
That hurts.
Linebacker Dante Kelly, Southern Miss. Linebacker Ethan Barr to Washington, who played in the national championship.
Yeah, I liked Ethan Barr.
Yeah, linebacking core kind of took some hits. Ethan Crisp also going to the Flaming Libs of Liberty. And then Savion Riley heading out to the Miami Hurricanes. That's tough. John House heading out to Middle Tennessee, right up the road. Jameson Wharton heading to Texas Tech. Quantavis Gaskins hitting the portal as well. Okay. What are we gonna do here? They went out to the portal. They stayed aggressive.
Yeah.
They brought in Zaylen Wood on the D line from Middle Tennessee. They also brought in defensive end. Corday Sidner.
Yeah, I'm not helping.
Purdue.
I'm not helping with these pronunciations. I'll come in and clean up afterwards, but.
Now this is the big one here, right? Cornerback Marlon Jones, Eastern Washington. Some of these FCS kids. Did you watch Florida State last year? Their best defensive player was an Albany transfer.
Yeah.
Colby Taylor comes in from Wyoming. They had a good defense last year. Defensive back Randon Fontenot from TCU comes in. Maurice Hampton in the secondary as well comes in from Memphis. Michael Bell from Notre Dame getting some of the Irish. And also FCS cornerback from the Salukis. Mark Davis coming in, former Jerry Kill stomping ground. I wonder if they made a call and said, Jerry Kill, we got a guy. You think they won the portal overall or lost the portal?
On defense?
As a team.
That's tough. It's difficult which way you balance it out. They lost a lot of talent, but the ones they brought in, I think, are going to be impact players. So you're losing a lot of depth, but you're adding a lot of top heavy. So that if you want to look at kind of like in trades in professional sports, you go whoever got the best player, that's who won the trade. Like in basketball, they say that it doesn't matter if it's the 3-for-1. If that one is the fucking one, then that you won. So I think bringing in Piss and Pavia, and a couple other guys. I'll say it's even. I can make an argument for either one, but I'll say they won it. Why not?
Yeah, they won it when they got the coaching staff.
Yeah, it's
from
true.
New Mexico State, I think. So the win total is sitting there at 2.5 wins. Now shop around because we saw a bunch of different numbers. We were just talking pre-episode. There's 2.5. There's 3. There's also 3.5 out there.
Yeah, as of recording, Bet Online has 2.5 juice to -190. I think the number opened up at 3.5, and maybe it's come down a bit because I saw some books. I saw 3 is what you said too, but I did see some 3.5 in there, which I think is a little ambitious.
Yeah, to win the SEC championship though, how about that one? Plus 100,000.
Yeah.
to win the Natty plus 200,000. It's all out there available for you. We're gonna go game by game, folks. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the Vanderbilt Commodores 2024 season preview episode is brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, if you're betting, on NBA player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with intuitive user experiences. So making betting both easy and enjoyable. And Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data that help drive you to better AI-backed betting decisions. So what are you doing, folks? Check out the 7-day trial period today. That's free. Claim it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. So hear me out here. We're back on the Vanderbilt season preview episode, and I think you can build a case for, them just blindly without. We're gonna go game by game in a second, but my point is that I feel like most years, okay, maybe not under Clark Lea, but under Derek Mason, they were hitting that 3 number every single except the COVID year. So actually, from 2011 to 2019, they would have cleared 2.5 every single season. Now, since then, they've had 3 out of 4 years they have been under that. I like the coaching hires. That's something to say. So let's jump into the schedule. All right. And if you're wondering what the numbers are on the right, I power ranked what I think the hardest games on the schedule are 1 through 12.
Yeah, this is a Dundee exclusive power ranking of opponents.
Yes, and look,
all right, I love it.
I want to circle this game from the start. They open up hosting Virginia Tech. Now the stadium is still under construction.
That was an issue last year. The construction.
that was. I love how they had a crane just lifting up a wire with
it did not look safe. Any of the things. Only Brian Kelly.
Scoreboard.
Right. It looks like something Brian Kelly would send an intern up to film practice at on a scissor lift. I mean, it just looked dangerous.
Oh man, nobody goes into the construction zone and gets it done. But hear me out. Look, Virginia Tech's getting a ton of hype. I know our boy in the office, Ryan Real Money Kramer's talking about it. They return all 11 starters on the offensive side of the ball.
Oh, they got the Heisman winner over there. Right?
Yeah, but hear me out here. Hear me out here. Look, and I do think Virginia Tech has a nice schedule, nice setup. But I just need to see it from them because they went 7-6 last year. Just because you went 7-6 and you beat a Tulane team without their coach and half their roster, 41-20.
Yeah.
In Annapolis, Maryland, where there's a clear advantage to Virginia Tech fans, they still lost to Marshall. You know what I mean? They still lost to Purdue.
And they have a lot of expectations this year. And sometimes those teams that come in with those high expectations, like you said, that doesn't have the track record, at least recently, of it. That can get to them on an opener like this. So they're supposed to breeze through, and it can get dicey. Even though we got Kyron Drones having Heisman talk. I mean, the whole squad. They can. It's possible. It's possible that Vandy could open up with home opener. Is this at night? This game?
It is. Dude, they didn't beat a team with a winning record last year.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech did.
All right.
I mean, the only bad part is Vanderbilt didn't have a winning record, but
yeah, good thing to play in Vanderbilt then.
Yeah,
I think it's a
winnable game.
It's definitely something I would give them a close to like a 35 to 40% chance of winning for sure.
Yeah. I think, and especially getting Diego Pavia, I think that in this offense, I think they could give them. It might be a little more chippy than I think Hokie fans realize.
I agree. I think this might be well. I tell you
We're
what,
taking the points, bet detective.
Taking the points with Vandy.
Do we have a line on this? Let me see if I can find a line on this game.
For sure. And I tell you, we'll find out. At least we'll find out right away. There'll be no waiting to see what you're going to do with this season. I'm looking at, let's see here.
12.5 right now. Get out of here. Give me the 12.5 in the doors.
Shop around. It's in the morning, by the way, 9 a.m. out here, noon Eastern. 13.5 on Bet Online right there.
Yeah, I'll take
Gobble
the points.
that up.
I'll take the points all day. It's worth a sprinkle. It is worth a sprinkle
On the money line.
I mean, I'm looking at the Hokie schedule last year. Their best win on the road. First off, they lost by like 20 points to Rutgers on the road last year, right? Their best win on the road was Boston College, 48-22. All
right. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll take the 13, but let's as far as an actual win-loss, to the official counting the W's for the win total, I'll give Virginia Tech a tight nod.
All right, I'll give the Hokies. Give me a Give me a 31-27 final. Hokies get it done.
Yeah,
but
a good cover, good solid cover, Vandy.
The Braves of Alcorn State coming into Nashville. That's their first win. They win big. Agreed?
Yeah, absolutely. They have to win these games. They have 3 non-conferences. They have to win them. But here we go.
They got great news when Sean Elliott at like in the middle of spring ball, he just up and leaves the head coaching position of Georgia State to become the tight ends coach of South Carolina. It was a pivotal year for him. He was on the hot seat, but he's just like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I'm out. I think Georgia State, now they quickly tried they go out and hire Del McGee, who comes over from Georgia, but I'm a skeptic on Georgia State because that shit, when you have a hire that happens that late, it normally doesn't, it never works out for the most part. Maybe long-term it will, but like for that 1 year, it doesn't really work out. So I got them going up to Center Park Stadium where Dale Murphy used to hit dingers and getting it done in Atlanta. I got them 2-1, feeling great about themselves.
Dale Murphy. Before that, Bob Horner once hit 4 home runs. Back when we watched the Braves on TBS Superstation.
That was great. You had you could always get the Braves. You could always get the Cubs with WGN.
Cubs and WGN, Braves on Superstation. Those were after school break. That's after school baseball for you.
Oh yeah. You got them 2-1.
I got them 2-1. Absolutely. Let's go.
Now they're home to the Missouri Tigers.
Yikes.
Now Missouri's supposed to be a playoff contender this year.
Yeah, Missouri's gonna be good this year.
I just wonder if they can catch any of these teams sleeping. You know what I mean? Can they catch any of these teams? Because they were who was it? Was it Georgia? They caught someone sleeping for a little bit last year, and then they woke up.
Yeah, it was Georgia. I believe it was. And then
by the way, that's at Missouri. I fucked that graphic up. That's at Missouri.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't change my prediction.
That's a loss.
But it would be better. At Missouri is definitely tough. That's tough. Then they have a bye, and then they have Alabama at home. Now that would technically, schedule-wise, be a good situation for them.
No,
if that name didn't say Alabama on it. So, and we don't know what Alabama's going to be this year. I will say this: they'll be better than Vanderbilt. But coming off a bye, catching them at home, there's just a team that you can catch sleeping possibly, but I don't see them beating Alabama.
So we agree. They're 2-3.
Yeah.
Now comes a huge one in Lexington. What if I told you, Bet Detective, the last time they went into Lexington, they knocked off the Wildcats 24-21. Can they do it again?
What is Clark Lea's record versus Kentucky?
1-2.
1-2. No, that's good. Got one. You got that one. That's pretty big.
And Kentucky is coming off a bye, unfortunately.
Kentucky's off a bye, and Vandy's coming off licking their wounds, as they say, versus that Roll Tide bully, the Beast. I don't see things going well at Kentucky.
Yeah, I will say though, if you're looking for wins, this would be one. Like they're going to upset somebody on the schedule, whether it's Virginia Tech. Will they get
an SEC win? Is what I want to know. I put it on you, Dundee.
I'm going to say yes, and I'll get to mine in a minute.
All right, that's what we want to hear. That's what Damani wants to hear. Let's go, Commodores. Let's get ourselves a conference win here.
Yeah, Damani in the chat saying ceiling 5 wins, floor 3 wins. So he's already he's already.
If your floor is hitting the over 2.5, Damani, go. Congratulations. You will help pay off that tuition you paid for at Vandy and cash in, because that's the floor.
Now Ball State comes to town. I think this is a win.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think the MAC has had some success against Vanderbilt over the past decade. I think the last time they played a MAC school, they won by 10, but it was a close game in that fourth quarter. It's like a 3-point game, if memory serves me correct, but they will get it. They will beat Ball State, Patty C's boys. And this is their 3rd win of the season. We cash the over by October 19th.
Whew, I love it. They better beat Ball State, that's for sure. But yeah, if you can get that 2.5 number, which you can right now, hammer that with a Vanderbilt, and you won't have your money tied up. You'll be freed up by before Halloween. So Let's go.
Then you ready for the biggest game of the season?
Yeah.
The Texas Longhorns come into the construction zone. Bring your hard hat.
Yeah, bring your hard hat. Bring your hard horns.
All right.
Yeah.
Get up on the scissor lift because you're gonna need it for this one. Buddy. Hear me out here.
Oh Lord, here we go. This
Hear me
isn't
out.
this isn't
Hear me out.
personal. This isn't
Texas
personal at all.
Is off Georgia. Texas they might imagine Texas at home in Austin beats Georgia.
Okay.
This is the perfect hangover game. Do you remember what happened when they played Houston at Houston? Houston was a 4-win team last year. Houston lost to Rice. You know what I mean? They weren't any good. They lost to Cincinnati, right? Houston should have beat him. It was a horrible spot in that game, and Dana Holgerson's still mad about that.
Let's not take any strays at Rice, by the way. Last year, we all know Rice and JT Daniels last year, and they're
doing it for us, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. the 9-year veteran.
Can they get the Longhorns in the construction zone? Because look, if they're smelling themselves, they beat Georgia. It makes this game somewhat susceptible.
Texas, classic letdown versus Georgia. In history of choking teams and losing games that they should absolutely dominate. Vanderbilt coming off Ball State, not quite a bye, but a tune-up to get their dub win and set up to select highs in the construction site. Screws hanging out, plywood lying around the sideline. Who knows? You might have that cha-cha-cha Arch Manning out there at that point. No, they have no chance. Texas buries them, and they'll win this going away by 30 to 40 points.
Next, they go to the Plains to take on Auburn.
This is a game you could talk me into.
Hugh Strip Club Freeze, disappointing first year. And Diego Pavia, Jerry Killen, that staff is 1-0 against Strip Club Freeze.
That's what I mean. This entire New Mexico State coaching staff, they beat Auburn last year. The quarterback beat him. The coaches
at
beat
Auburn,
him.
too.
At Auburn.
By double digits.
About here. Let's run it back. This one I can get talked into now.
I can't. I think Auburn's going to be better. I think Auburn's going to be better. But then, as Matt S. says in the chat, I see opportunity.
Yeah.
And this is a great question because I think it probably rides on the fact you're going to need him to be fired probably because Shane Beamer and South Carolina come to town on November 9th. And Shane Beamer has had a knack for being much better. His teams are much better in November than they are in September. But he might not be there this November. It's a pivotal year for Shane Beamer. If he gets fired, I could see it being right around here. You know what I mean? Like, because they want to get a leg up on the coaching cycle. So let me ask you this. If there is no Shane Beamer there, is this game winnable? Because I think it is.
Oh, absolutely. When I was being serious, I'm like, will they get an SEC win? I don't know. Can they? Absolutely. If there's going to be one, this is it. This is the game they have to win if they want to get an SEC win this year at home versus South Carolina. Like you said, Beamer may be gone by that point. That's not even the point. This is a winnable game, and it's going to have to be at home. This is the one they should be locked in on.
And South Carolina lost Spencer Rattler. They're breaking
absolutely
a freshman quarterback. Now,
yeah,
the bad side is by then he might be pretty experienced. But
sure, right. But this is vulnerable. South Carolina road. I want to give this to Vandy. Let's go.
I'm giving it to Vandy. We're getting a fourth win.
Yes.
All right. There's a bye week after that where they can celebrate.
Yeah.
Bachelorette parties are going to be even better that weekend.
Yeah. Hit Broadway, right? Go to Bob's Rootin' Tootin' or whatever the fuck's going on.
You go there
there.
next thing you know, you see Diego pissing Pavia. Come on. Then they head to Baton Rouge, where they'll lose by probably 1,000 points because that's just not going to happen. And then they're home to the Vols, Tennessee.
Good rivalry.
Heupels will beat their ass, but couldn't they get them here? No, they can't. But I will say this is where the construction zone helps because normally they fill this thing with Tennessee Volunteer fans.
Right.
And by having half your stadium under construction, I think that's a nice plan for this game. Potentially not be a home game for the Vols. So I got them 4-8. Give me the over on that.
I'm with you. I'm with you. 4-8, right? I got the 3 non-conference of South Carolina. Is that what we got? Or not 3 non? Yeah.
I got Alcorn,
Alcorn, Georgia,
State.
Ball, and South Carolina. And you know what? Keep an eye on Virginia Tech, that opener. Kentucky, I know you like that. As not you like, of course, you have the non-biased near upset versus Texas. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, let's give.
Well, I don't get.
How fast are you? Like 1 to 10 on the confidence scale? Are you running to the window for this one?
I'm not ever running to the window to bet a Vanderbilt play. And they have questions.
Vanderbilt baseball.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely for baseball. They have questions, obviously. But let's see if this New Mexico State new blood with the piss man and the coordinators and Tim Beck, if they shake it up and brings.
Let me ask you this:
colorfulness to it. So as a 1 to 10, it's over 2.5. I definitely still have a nice solid 6 to 7 confidence out of 10 to hit over 2.5.
I agree. Had Georgia State not lost their head coach in the spring, I think Georgia State would win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think it is a winnable game for Vanderbilt. Let me ask you this though: we talked about Shane Beamer getting fired.
Mm-hmm.
That second bye week on November 16th is Clark Lea unemployed.
Well, according to us, we have them coming off a win versus South Carolina. So maybe that could be a make or break game for them. If they do lose that game, they know it's not going to end well with LSU and Tennessee.
Well, and if it's going by us, their bowl chances are still alive because if they win out, they can go 6-6. So maybe they don't fire him, but
they're not going to win out.
You got to think they might. I mean, I wonder how long the leash is that he has. But
yeah, you want him out of here, huh?
No, I like him, but I will say I just never understood why they don't run the triple. Like I honestly I know I love the triple option, but I'm saying like I don't understand why these schools that are at such a disadvantage from the start, the perfect offense. I was talking with Dan Hawkins recently, and he was saying like if you're at a talent disadvantage, the best thing you can do is to run the triple option, right? And I don't understand. Like to me, like I don't understand why a lot of those schools don't do it. Like if you're Wake Forest, I don't understand why you're doing it. Why you're not doing it. If you're Vanderbilt, why are you not doing it? If you're, Northwestern, I don't understand why you're not doing it. But Northwestern's had a little more success than the other two, so maybe that's it. But
you need a sound drop of the name drop every time you drop a name there. About like your football conversations you're having there with Jerry. But speaking of, do you see it? So you see a fire maybe in the second bye and Jerry Kill slipping in for the internship? And
wouldn't that be? And then they beat Tennessee.
All right, then they beat Tennessee. Next thing you know, well, fuck it, I'm coaching you boys. Let's go.
That would be awesome. All right.
I mean, I would be a little wary of Jerry Kill coming in there with some bullshit made up title, and he's just hanging out in the office,
just having a coffee.
Yeah,
got way more knowledge than you have. Right. He's just saying, "Oh, okay." This
Meanwhile, he's measuring the drawers. Yeah, I wonder if I can put my trophy right here. And
we're building a new stadium. We're building a new stadium.
Yeah. I just borrowed this from the construction site, but no, you guys game plan for Virginia Tech. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. Everything's looking fine. That's a good point. That is a very good point. And he would be perfect. By the way.
That's what I mean. I mean,
he would be perfect for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, this is a Leno Conan situation. I think the writing's on the wall.
Folks, that's our show. We're both on the over. The Monty is on the over. He's saying 5-7.
I love it. Right? I love Damani's optimism. Let's go.
I'm assuming Damani. Who's that fifth win? Is it the Hokies? Is it Kentucky? Is it Texas? Like we all think it could happen.
Back to back. Auburn, South Carolina. Let's go.
I like that. I like that angle. It's gonna be fun to watch. I can tell you that. And most of these previews, we have the looming 12-team playoff. I think it's the most interesting year in college football history that I can recall. Since I've been alive, and it's a shame because this is one of the only previews where I can't say that. But get to a bowl game, maybe.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Build me the bowl game path.
Huge accomplishment if they do that. The path
got to beat the Hokies.
Hokies would have to happen. That would go huge. And you fire out 3-0. I mean, look out. And then you got some momentum. And then you got, like we said, then you got to grab at least
Ball State.
Ball State
would be
Kentucky,
4, Kentucky 5,
and either Auburn or South Carolina. One of them.
I can see it. Let's go. All right. And Damani says two between of these 3: South Carolina, Kentucky, Virginia Tech, Auburn.
Of those 4, yeah.
Oh, 4. I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. That'll get it done. And that's doable.
I can tell he went to Vanderbilt. He can count. I can't. Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be fun to watch, and big year for Clark Lea. And yeah, I would be a little scared of Jerry Kill looking over your shoulder. Until next time, folks. This is our show. Make sure you check out the Bet Detective, the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Highly recommend it. Year-round sports, whatever's topical at the time. Covering everything.
Yeah, follow my road to 10 million, which is going on right now, and the daily updates of the live journey I take from a couple grand to $10 million as a ship to Survivor. We had a big step in it last night. The Celtics won the first half of my parlay. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. I'm on Twitter at DColby. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Remember, youtube.com/the College Experience. Also check out the FCS College Football Experience. Maybe you want to know a little bit about the Alcorn State Braves. We got you covered. Also subscribe to the Stadium Heads podcast. Myself, Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour, talking stadiums nonstop. College football stadiums, the history of it, what makes them so great. Neyland Stadium. Look, Vanderbilt Stadium is a doozy. They're fixing it up, which I'm on board with. Been there a long time. Check out the Stadium Heads because we talk very good about both those stadiums in the state of Tennessee there. So actually the Liberty Bowl too. So check it all out, folks. Stadium Heads podcast. Also check out the Sports Gambling podcast. And yeah, get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store, Google Play Store. And yeah, we're both on the over. Let's go Doors. It's going to be a fun season. This is the College Football Experience, Vanderbilt Commodore style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot.